Setting your rate as a documentary cinematographer can feel impossible. Every project is different, from budgets to gear and travel, and no one tells you what's fair. When I started shooting documentaries, I used to guess my rate on a regular basis. Sometimes I undercharged so much I was basically paying to work. But over time, I learned how to calculate value the right way, and it changed everything. What's going on, world? I'm Eric D. Seals, and today we're breaking down how to set your rates as a documentary cinematographer. Whether you're just getting started or trying to level up, I'm going to show you real-world numbers, mistakes to avoid, and how to negotiate without underselling yourself. Let's jump in. Documentary cinematography is storytelling in motion, and that's worth more than just your camera. You're capturing real life. There's no retakes, there's no perfect lighting. That adaptability is your value. So one of the things that you need to understand when you're pricing for your day rate is you bring experience, you bring creativity, and you need to know that the client is going to trust you with an unpredictable shoot. Yes, they may plan it out, and yes, they may have things ready to go to a certain aspect, but the reason that you're there is because you're going to perform. Whether everything goes right or everything goes wrong, you're still going to execute in a great way. When you look at what doc DPs are charging across the nation, there's a range. And it's not that you can't go outside of that range, many do, but a lot of people before they hire you already have a good idea of what it's going to cost. And if you're below it or above it, they're going to start asking questions. Documentary filmmaking requires emotional intelligence and endurance. It's not just who can frame the best shot. It's not just a person who can run a mile in under 5 minutes. It's a mix of both. I mean, if you think about it, being a doc DP is very demanding on your body and mental. Your rate needs to reflect all of these things put together. When you understand what you bring to the table, you stop negotiating from fear and you start negotiating out of confidence. So let's do this for a second. Let's talk real numbers. And here's how many, not all, many documentary DPs build their rate. This is a baseline for you to get started. And I wish I had this at my beginning because I had nothing. I just had to guess. I literally would just give people rates until someone said that sounds about right. Okay, when I'm looking at day rate, I'm going to break it down into 3 different categories. And at some point, I've been in all of these rates. A lot of people, when they first start, they just take their day job, whether you're working at the post office or you're working at a restaurant or you're working at a retail store, and they just multiply it. Here's the problem with it. When you work part-time, you are getting paid for the time that you're at the job. In the freelancing world, what a lot of people don't understand is you are paying me for more than just what I'm showing up to do. You're paying me for what I'm doing that day. You're paying me for when I don't get work because I don't work every day. And you're paying me so that I can get benefits and I can pay for all these other things that you don't have to pay for because you're hiring me as a contractor that day. And so when you add all those things up, that's why a freelancer can be more expensive because you have to compensate for the other overhead items that you're not getting just from that. And if you're not doing that as a freelancer, you need to start right away. Now, by no means am I an expert at business or know all the ins and outs of tax codes and all the things that you need to be doing, but I can speak on my experience and share it with you so that you can win. And one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make is they only charge for their hours that day and they can't grow. So when we look at that beginner rate, you see $250 to $400 a day. Again, this is for camera operators or cinematographers. Too many people aren't going to be a DP at that rate. So I'm going to be kind of blending the two because we know that one leads into the other. Now, a lot of this is not going to be a set or a professional project. This is probably going to be a nonprofit. This is going to be a friend. This is going to be someone who's not in the industry. And that's okay because that's honestly where you need to make your most mistakes and learn a lot from it. The next is the intermediate. And depending on where you're at, this is where a lot of people land. Depending on the production, I land here from time to time. I think we look at beginner, intermediate, and experience like it's how many years that you've been in the game, but it's the context you have, it's the network you have, it's the equipment you have access to, it's the city you live near. It's more than just these titles. I would almost change this so that it's saying that these are just the different ballparks that you can be in depending on, again, your experience, which sounds a little funny. Now, when you break to the next level, the experience level is what we're calling it here, that 900 to 1200 a day. That's where a lot of experienced DPs and cinematographers are living between. Once I really started to understand the pricing, I started my day rate at $850, and then I slowly would increase it over time. And I got to the point where I'm getting a lot of job opportunities and I don't want to take every job that comes. And so I purposely increase my rate so I get less job offers. But the ones that I do want to take on are the ones that I'm really interested in or they're paying very well. All right, so when we start to look at gear package, number one, this is a lost opportunity that I think a lot of people are passing up on. My gear usually makes more money than I do when it comes to my labor. And that's why I'm such a big fan of owning equipment and purchasing it. So I purchased the Sony FX9 a year after it came out. And I would say, I need to do the actual calculation, but I would say it bought itself over at least 5 to 8 times. I should have bought another one. My FX6 has bought itself over and over again. And from that standpoint, it's all profit. Before we get into gear, for those of you who are bundling your package together, I hear you. It's something that I used to do. I am going to advise you not to do that anymore. You're losing out on opportunities to make more money for you as a business owner, because you are a business owner at this point, because you're running yourself. You are a freelancer. And so if you go to Best Buy and you say, hey, I want to buy, a phone, they're going to say it's going to cost this much. And then if you say, I want to add this accessory and this accessory, they don't just get it included. They have to add more things to it. All of you who are doing it, I'm not saying you can't have bundles, but I really encourage you get away from the all-inclusive price. My drone, my lenses, my tripod, my easy rig, my gimbal, that could be even as $50. Those things start to add up over time. The camera body, it ranges. These prices are almost irrelevant because many people are going to be charging at least $500 a day for their camera. And I think currently, of course, this changes on a regular basis, but your FX9, your FX6, your Burano is going to be a little bit more expensive. Your C300, C500, that's going to be in the ballpark where people are charging anywhere between $400, $600 a day for the camera, just the body alone. Now for the lens kit, this is where I bundle. I come with my standard lens kit, which is my Sigma lenses, a part of my rental. If you're not going for a particular look, then I'm going to use my standard package. Now, lighting and audio definitely are not included in anything that I do. And then once it gets to specialty gear and drone, I'm going to be honest, I go to several different rental websites, see what they charge, and then I might do a little bit less or do something similar. But I'm not a rental company. You're hiring me to come with the gear. And so I have to charge you something on top of that, obviously. With a simple rental package based on what's here, you can easily go over what a day rate is. And the other thing, this is a pro tip for you, it also shows professionalism. When you separate your labor from your gear, even if you own the camera, list it as a rental, because this signals that you're a professional and it covers the wear and tear that you're going to have on the equipment. Negotiation is where many DPs lose money. It's not because they charge too much, but because they don't ask the right questions. So when it comes to negotiation, I look at this in 2 different ways. The way that I negotiate as a DP, director, editor is very different than how I negotiate with my production company. So for my production company, I always ask what the budget is up front, because to get a 5-minute video fluctuates so much and it's hard to understand what goes into it. The shorter the video actually means more work. If you create a 2-minute video, it's probably going to be harder than if you create a 10-minute video, because less has to go into it, but you need to provide a lot of value. When it comes to be a freelancer, I don't even ask what the budget is up front, because this is what my rate is. Now, at the beginning of my career, I would always ask because I want to make sure that they could afford me. But now I just tell people up front, this is how much I cost. And if you want to work with me, great. If your rate is just a suggestion, then people are going to walk all over you. Here's the important thing. Even though I do have my rate, I choose to go under my rate at certain times, and there's sometimes I choose to go over my rate. So one thing that you'll start to see as you move up and working more is you have to explain yourself less. If anybody comes to you and starts saying, hey, you're way too expensive, first off, that's a you problem. If you can't afford it, that's totally okay, but don't tell me what my rate is. It's up to you to decide if you want to negotiate your rate down. Confidence and communication are worth way more than any lens in your kit.
Y'all are doing amazing. You feel like you're doing amazing?
We're doing okay.
You doing okay?
Your day rate isn't just the shoot day. You're also incorporating working on prep, scouting, and travel. All of that is time that you need to account for. Anytime I have to get on a flight, I charge you obviously for the flight expenses, but I also charge you for my time because I can't work for anybody else. So I charge you a half day rate for whatever my day rate is. So if I'm $1,000, I'm charging you $500 if we have a travel day to go somewhere. This allows you to make money because traveling is working. You have to wake up early. You got to pack your bags. You got to go through the airport. You got to go through TSA. You got to have them go through your bags. You have to land. You have to get your bags back. If your bags, didn't get shipped to the right place, there's a lot of work into that. So just know that you are technically still working and you should charge for that. You need to always clarify per diem and mileage up front. Definitely from the mileage aspect, each state has an IRS code number, fill in the blank, whatever it's called, where for every mile that you travel, you can get reimbursement. I think it's up to 71 cents, or I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's up there. So you need to know what those things are because that will add up over time, especially if you're doing a road trip. The more you protect your time, the more sustainable this career becomes. Undervaluing gear and giving it away for free is the quickest way to the bottom. You are missing out on opportunity to grow your business. Don't undervalue your gear. Don't say yes to every low budget gig that comes through. If you start getting into this game and you start putting out your own work, you're going to get another opportunity. Just know that the low budget gigs are not going to sustain you in the long run. It's okay to take them every once in a while because it's going to provide you value in other ways like your portfolio, but don't build your career on them. Skipping contracts or written agreements. I don't take any project unless I have a deal memo. Deal memos are required to work with me. And honestly, they're not going to do much at the end of the day because if you need to take someone to court, that costs money, that costs time, but it requires them to have some ownership of what they agree to pay you up front. Every mistake you make early on becomes part of your rate later. Learn fast and adjust quickly. As your skill grows, your rate should too. But it's not just about experience, it's about results. One thing that I do, I use this app called Time and I track every project that I work on so that I can look at the time that I spent on each project to make sure that I'm profiting at the end of the year and at the end of the project. So if I'm spending so much time in the prep and then you have the shoot and then I have to bring my equipment back and that ends up being more hours than I'm getting paid for, I need to know that. And the only way you can do that is by tracking your time. Some people raise their rates every 6 to 12 months as you're building reputation. For me, I don't raise my rates every 6 to 12 months. It's something that you can choose to do, especially because the industry is really taking a hard hit right now. And I want people to have an easy time to hire me because this is not all of the money that I make. I make a good amount of money as a DP, as a director, as a business owner. I have other things that I'm invested in. So this is not the only way that I make money. So it's easy for me to say that this is going to be a constant rate because this is just a portion of my income. It's not all of my income. If you can add more services to the things that you do, from lighting to being a drone operator to DITing your own stuff, these are all small things that you can add to bump up your day rate. The more experience you stack, the easier it becomes to quote with confidence. Your rate isn't random, it's earned. Setting your documentary cinematography rate isn't about guessing. It's about understanding your worth, protecting your time, and building longevity. If this helped you, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe. I'm dropping a filmmaking episode like this every week, and I'd love to hear what DPs in your area are charging. Drop your rates in the comments so we can help somebody else. I'm Eric D. Seals. Keep telling stories that matter.
Hi, I'm Eric Seals. I'm the tape man. Cameraman!